Great Yorkshire Business on Great Yorkshire Radio.
You know, there's a great saying, you don't know what you don't know. And I'm here today to explore the world of business coaching with Bill Squires. How are you, Bill? All right?
Very well indeed, thank you, Steve.
Bill, tell me about the role of a business coach before we find out a little bit more about you.
So it's quite varied, really. It depends what the person who is being coached is looking for. What I find is that most business owners have gone into business at some stage to give themselves a better life. That's what they're looking for. And quite often, along the way, they've lost that sort of mojo. They're not really quite sure what they're there for. And therefore, I'm working with people who want to get better, who want to get more out of their organisation, and probably aren't quite sure how to do it now at that stage.
Do they lose a little bit of passion, do you think?
Sometimes it can be passion. Sometimes they can just get so used to turning the handle on the business that actually they lose that why and what they went for it originally. So you may need to reignite that for them. You may need just to help them because they're getting quite blinkered by working in the business so much of the time that they can't see the wood for the trees themselves.
And I guess I'm just thinking as we're talking there, you know, some people, you know, you start a business, you've got a certain skill, but they also might be the things missing. you may be great at something, but the business world is encompassing a number of things, and I guess you help with that.
Yeah, of course. So what you'll often find is someone is very good technically at the skill that they've got experience in, and they know that inside out. So they may be the perfect tree surgeon. Mm-hmm. But maybe they haven't got a lot of skill or experience in all the other aspects of business, as you say. Sales and marketing, IT, HR, finance, administration, writing processes. The list goes on and on and on. And actually, to be the complete businessman, you need to have an understanding of all these areas because they all come together to make a really strong organisation.
And you help people do that.
Yeah.
And share some skills. So Bill, you're involved, you're there, you're doing the business coaching. So after I came to work with you, tell me how you got into it. How did it develop for you?
How did I get into it? Well, my background has been in business-to-business corporate roles. So that's been always about growth, and it's about being growing organisations. So I'll give you a few examples. So went out to Australia, did a startup in a completely new country.
Wow.
Yeah, and we grew that organisation from scratch to $3 million per annum Australian dollars over a 3-year period. So I went through that experience, an awful lot of learning as we went, but a very specific market. I then came back into the UK, took over responsibility for the UK business. That business when I came in, was doing about 1.5 million sterling, and we grew that business, doubled it in size over an 18-month period, which was all about going out and finding new clients and getting to really build a sales and marketing process that meant we had a steady stream of new clients coming into the organisation, and then we ran out of resources.
Right.
And therefore what we had to do is go and build a process to find new young engineers that we could develop and train so they could become the consultants of the future.
And Bill, you used two interesting words there. You use one, learning, okay, and process, okay. So when you're working with somebody, I guess it's important that they're open-minded to learning new things.
Absolutely, yeah. I think I know is one of the great issues which causes resistance to personal growth. If you really want to grow and develop as an individual, to be the best person you can, we should always be seeking to learn. Continuous learning and developing. I'm learning every day. Doing what I'm doing, working with clients, I'm learning every day. And I will continue to strive to develop so I can be a better person, so I can help more clients achieve more.
And what I'm going to use a phrase now that's just come to me about in terms of celebrating failure, right? Because we do get the impression sometimes that everybody's successful and great, but that learning experience, I mean, people, failures are quite a strong word, but if you think about what you've learned from that experience, you can move forward, can't you, I guess?
And we've all got failures.
Yeah.
Tell me about them. How did we learn to walk?
Yes.
We learned to walk by falling down, by getting up again, by falling down, by getting up again. It was lots of little failures, and then we get over that. and therefore I'm an expert in failure. I've made more than my fair share.
Yes, I will go with you on that one. I'll share that with you.
But actually we should celebrate it, because that's a great way to learn and develop, but actually it's quite a painful way, especially in business.
Yes.
And therefore, if you're learning through failure, it will have an impact on you, whereas if you've got the benefit of having someone around you who you can test some theories with, you've got a better chance of success in getting it right first time, which we'd all like to achieve.
Yeah, and the process, because that's another interesting word, process. Because I've talked to many small business people who, like, I think we used the phrase somewhere where they're really working in the business and they're so into it. If they just took some time to step outside of that and look at what they're doing and put a process in, it can make a big difference. And that's where you can help as well, I guess.
Yeah, no. So, and most business owners are looking for something they more out of their organisation. And their typical goals will be make more money. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people work very hard and don't pay themselves very well because they can't afford to through their business. Mm-hmm. Or they're just working all the time flat out in the organisation and they haven't got time for themselves and the family and their social life. And therefore it's those two big things that you're trying to help people with. Give them some more time to enjoy and give them the monetary rewards which they should be getting out of the organisation if it's a successful business, to enjoy the time and actually have a satisfying future.
And what kind of businesses do you work with, Bill? Who needs a business coach then? Is it across small to medium-sized businesses?
Yeah, small to medium-sized organisations. The organisations I work with, I want to be seen as an investment that pays for itself. And therefore the business has to have a certain size, because when we work together, they're going to grow. That growth will give them a return. Obviously, the larger the business, the same percentage growth gives them a bigger return. And I want to make sure that I'm an investment in the future. I'm not a cost. Mm-hmm. And therefore I look for an organisation where when we work together, I can see that opportunity, that working together will mean benefit of working with Bill is Bill's a free resource.
And when's a good time to start, Bill? Does it,
Our best time to start would probably be 5 years ago for most organisations, but that's not possible. So if you can't start 5 years ago, when's the best time to start? Well, yesterday, but we can't do that even. So today's a good day.
Today's a good day.
Today's a good day.
Okay. So whenever the time is right, I guess.
There'll typically be something that happens in the organisation that people think about it. I don't know what it is. It'll be varying for different people. They may have had somebody leave and they're just thinking about why. They may just have decided actually they're getting into a bit of a rut and they want to do something to change. So often there'll be something there. Or they're just going, they are dissatisfied with where they are and they'd like some help to move forward.
And Bill, we were talking over a cup of tea as well, just about an event that you went to last week, and it's about the marginal differences that you can make as well. So, just picking up on what you're saying as well, it doesn't always have to be the big things, does it?
No, it tends to be in terms of getting the growth and things that change. It is actually a multiplication of a lot of small things that collectively make a very large difference. So the event was Sir Clive Woodward talking about marginal gains and all the different things you need to put in place to become an individual champion, athlete, sports person, and also building winning teams. Fascinating, lots to learn that is directly applicable to business.
Right, okay. So people listen to this then and they're thinking, well, that sounds interesting. Mm-hmm. How can they find out and how can they try it with you? How can they work with you to see if it's for them?
So I assume that most people don't know an awful lot about business coaching. Not many people are going to wake up in the morning and go, I want to hire a business coach today. So I'm very keen to let people experience it. And there's a couple of different ways they can do that. I run regular workshops that people can come to. They're complimentary, so they can come and meet me, understand the systems, understand the process and the methodology, and just think about whether that would help them in their organisation.
Right, okay. And do you run those on a regular basis?
I run those on a regular basis, typically once a month, so they're just a rolling programme. The other thing they can do is, if that's too difficult to get to, taking that time out, I'm very happy just to have a cup of coffee with people. Let them meet me. I'm happy to understand, because I need to understand more about their business.
Okay.
See whether there is the opportunity there. But it's a little process that we work through where, again, we provide a complimentary coaching session to people so they can actually experience it and find out whether that process will work for them and their organisation.
So, Bill, let's use me as an example. Then I come and work with you. Or give me a typical example of how you've actually helped someone.
So it depends what the individual wants to achieve. And the first thing is understand what their goals are. Working with a business owner recently, his desire was actually to exit out of his business in about 3 or 4 years' time. And there for him it was about maximising the value. When I was talking to him, the business was completely dependent on the owner. He was involved in all facets of it, which would significantly reduce its value on sale, because why would somebody put a lot of money into his pocket if the business was going to be dependent on him? How motivated would he be in the future, and would he want to stay around? So he's had to grow and develop his organisation so that it works without him. And I think most business owners actually are looking to achieve that goal, because that gives people choice. Lots of business owners you talk to, they love their business. They don't want to stop working, but actually the thought of having that choice about whether they work or not is very attractive.
That's a really big choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's that freedom, isn't it?
That's freedom. That's the ultimate game for everybody, is they've got freedom. They can carry on working if they want to, whenever they want, doing whatever they want in their business, or they could sit back. Or they could take passive income from the business without working, or if they chose to sell, they know they're going to get maximum value at that point.
You just made me thought there, what about an example, Bill, where it's a business in its stage, it's growing, and it wants to grow, but they don't know how to, because there's different skills coming in around people, delegation skills and things like that, I guess.
And a lot of that is, again, it's that first step. So when you've got a really small business where you've got 1 or 2 people within it, that first step of when to grow, when to take on that more resources, and how to make that happen is absolutely crucial. And people often need, a bit of help and direction just to make sure they're going in the right direction, getting it right. That first person they take on board is absolutely crucial, because they need to develop with the organisation, because they're going to be the future of the business.
And I guess you could do that too early, could you?
No, I don't think, if the business is right for it, I don't think you can do it too early. I think it's about planning, but it's about understanding what you want. No one goes into business, or you shouldn't, without knowing where you want to end up. So if you're going to build your own house, you wouldn't start by digging the foundations without a really good plan of what the house looks like when it's finished. Same thing with your business. What does it look like when it's finished? And actually thinking that through and thinking what the business is going to look like is a really useful exercise.
And Bill, we're here in Leeds.
Yeah.
So do you work across Yorkshire? How does it work?
No, I can. So I can work anywhere in Yorkshire or Lincolnshire, but I choose to work because I believe that being face to face, not all of the time, you can do it over the phone or by video conferencing, but I actually want to be close to the organisations I work to. So I work around homes in Boston Spa, I have an office in East Leeds, and I work around this area, so within 10 miles of one of those locations.
So Bill, for people listening today and they want to find out more about you, how can they get in touch?
Well, the easiest way is to go and have a look at the website. I've got details of the events that are coming up on that. That's actioncoach.co.uk/Bill Squires. Or if anyone would like a personal conversation, set up a session, then just email me, which is billsquires@actioncoach.com.
And why not? Why not just take that opportunity? You never know where it might take you.
Exactly. And I'm always very happy to have a chat with anybody over the phone, give them some of my time and help them understand how business coaching might help them.
Brilliant. Thank you for joining us today, Bill.
Pleasure, Steve.
Great Yorkshire Business on Great Yorkshire Radio.